Hello, my name is Carrie. Welcome to my tiny little kitchen. I have been cooking since I was a child. Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Today we are making a chocolate rum cake with chocolate rum frosting. One of the things that's unique about this cake is that there are no eggs in it. So if you know somebody with an allergy to eggs, this is a cake that they can eat. What I need to do now is to butter the sides and bottom of one of the ramekins. I've already cut a little piece of parchment paper to sit in the bottom so the bottom of my cake won't stick. You can get parchment paper in pretty much any grocery store. Now I'm going to put a little bit of butter on the parchment paper. Whenever I take the wrapper off of a stick of butter, if there's a little bit of butter left on the wrapper, I put it away in the freezer and save it for when I need to butter a baking dish. Now we'll take a little bit of flour and we'll just tap that around the sides and bottom so that we're certain that our cake will not stick. And I want to get all the extra out and just leave a thin coating of butter and flour. So all 5 of my pans are ready. I have my sifter and we're going to sift together 1½ cups of flour, and this is just regular white all-purpose flour. And we have 1 cup of white granulated sugar, a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We'll sift all of our ingredients together. I should let you know that before I turned the camera on, I turned my oven on to preheat to 350 degrees. Now there's some teeny tiny little flecks that are hard and not going through the sifter. I'm just going to toss those out. I have a 1/4 of a cup of Hershey's dark cocoa. That's my favorite cocoa to use. You can use regular or the special dark. We're going to stir a 1/4 of a cup of cocoa into our flour mixture. I have 5 tablespoons of melted butter. I melted this butter in the microwave oven at 20-second intervals until it was just melted. You could also melt it on top of a stove. We're going to add all of that butter. We have 1 cup of very cold water that was in the refrigerator. To that, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And we're also going to add a half a teaspoon of rum extract. Now we're going to add this to our dry ingredients. And then we're just going to stir with a fork until the ingredients are mixed. We want to stir as little as possible. You may have noticed something unique about this cake recipe. There are no eggs in it. So if you know somebody with an egg allergy or someone who is vegan, this is a cake recipe that they could eat. Actually, I take that back. We used butter, so you'd have to use shortening instead of butter to make it truly vegan, but it definitely is vegetarian with the butter. Almost have it finished. Just about mixed. Now we need to divide the batter between the 3 bowls. So we'll spoon this in. Wipe up the spills from the sides here. And that's about 2/3 full. The cake will rise, so we don't want to fill it up all the way. Let's see about adding a little bit more here, make them as even as possible. And of course, I always wash my hands before I begin cooking and throughout the cooking procedure. So I have 3 pans for my sister's cake and 2 pans for my husband's. I'm going to place them in the oven, and I'm going to start by baking them for 20 minutes and then checking them after 20 minutes to see how far done they are. Our cakes just came out of the oven. They baked for 27 minutes. And we need to stick a metal pick in the center. If it comes out clean, it means our cake is done. So our cake layers are done. They're cooling here on the pan, and now I'm going to move them over to the cooling rack. And we'll let them cool in their pans for at least 20 minutes before we let them finish cooling on the rack outside of the pans. These are silicone pot holders. You can use them to place on the table to put a hot dish on, and you can use them to touch and let's talk. And now our cakes should be cool enough that we can get them out of the pans. We'll go around the edge again with a knife. And it's not a serrated knife, it's called a butter knife. It doesn't want to come all the way out. There we go. And we'll take the paper off. Still a little bit warm, so it needs to continue cooling on the rack. Normally, I would just make the chocolate fudge frosting, but today, because I'm making a special birthday cake for my sister, I'm going to make some extra frosting that I can make a pink color to write her name on top of the cake. And then these were the extra layers that I made for my husband. He'll be really happy about that. Frosting so you can see all the layers. When we bring them out of the pan, we put them upside down. And peel the paper off. So because